Welcome to the Landmark Baseball Podcast. My name is Josh, coming to you from Michigan. Over there in California is Neil. Neil, we got a lot to talk about today. Not a lot of it's on the field. We got a lot of off the field stuff. But first off, how you doing? It's been a few days.
Doing great. Padres locked up my boy long term, so I got a lot to say about that. And I'm sure you'll disagree. So we'll see what this goes.
I got. I had just have very mixed takes on that.
Right.
But we'll start with the news of today, which I just found out about like an hour ago, and I don't think Neil's heard anything about it
No,
besides
I
what
don't.
I've
I know
said.
nothing. I know nothing.
So
So
let's get right into it. Mariners president Kevin Mather's his name. He's also a minority stake owner in the organization. Did a like a like a breakfast thing with like a Rotary Club. He like talked for like 45 minutes. They asked him questions and stuff like that. A lot of takeaways, but we end up with a lot of dumb and basically I'm going to get to this guy needs to be fired. This is a horrible look for their organization. I'm just going to read off the note points from the interview, and then this guy didn't even have like the main piece of problem in his notes, so I'll just start with that, I guess. He said today in an open-ended question about top prospect Julio Rodriguez that he's loud and his English is not tremendous. Got asked about his big personality, and that's the first thing that came to his mind about his top prospect.
like
Horrible
why?
look.
Why?
He doesn't speak very good English. Okay, so here's everything else from the note section today. This is a lot, so I'm just going to try to skim through it. Top prospect Jared Kelnick was offered a 6-year deal plus options worth a lot of money. He turned it down, betting on himself. Said he won't commit past his free agent years. They also said he should be up sometime this year because his service time starts once he hits AAA. I don't know what kind of agreement that is. I've never heard of that, but I guess it's exclusive to him. Said the same thing about top pitching prospect Logan Gilbert. They had zero intention to bring up any of their prospects last year, is what he said. Even if a COVID outbreak were to take place, they were going to keep him down. So basically, flipped what he said last year. They are going to try to extend as much homegrown talent as they can. There's a pitcher in the bullpen last summer that said he would take one of those deals, name not mentioned. Speaking of accepting long-term deals, the players tried really hard to talk Evan White out of accepting his. If you guys remember, he got not talked into, but he accepted a deal to get paid major league money before he even made his debut. Kind of a rare thing. But one of their top catching prospects is coming up. Julio Rodriguez isn't supposed to be up in 2021, likely 2022. Don't know why he's revealing all this information. Just say like, yeah, next couple seasons should be up. It's just too much information to like release at a thing like this. This is only halfway through, by the way. The Mariners weren't actually one of the best in terms of development last year. We're actually one of the best handful of teams that had their top prospects at the alternate site. This is irrelevant. Uh, they were talking to Walker and Paxton about signing him. Obviously, Paxton signed, but Walker wanted 3 years. Mather didn't think he would get 3 years, so they were on the option that Walker and other free agents would accept anything offered to them once the season got closer, and the M's could take advantage of it. That's what they did with Paxton, clearly. I think he was asking for like 12 or more $million for a 1-year deal, and obviously no one wanted to give him that. I don't know why no one else would, but here we are. Mariners have him now. 2021 is Kyle Seager's last year for the Mariners, but I don't know why I said this either. Will be in the Mariners Hall of Fame the second it's possible.
Huh. I
Okay,
mean,
guy. Whatever. He said things didn't get interesting with the Paxton signing until like a couple days before when he was just like, hey, I need people to sign me. He told a story about his starting pitcher, Marco Gonzalez, pushing Mike Leake up against the wall, saying, like, you can be a dick, but do it quietly. Because I guess Mike Leake made like a comment, like, don't tell me how to do my bullpens. And his starting pitchers just pushed him up against the wall, said, stop being a dick. He got traded soon after. They're talking about fans coming in. I'm actually interested in this. They said basically 10K can be in attendance for a social distance stadium. They're probably not going to be able to start with that though.
is
Uh,
that in
this is
like
in Washington, but
okay?
I assume it's most stadiums will have around 10K.
It all depends per state, really. Like I feel, because I don't think California still might not have anybody. So we'll see.
Probably
But
not. No,
yeah,
Cali's in prison.
so strict. Yeah. Like, but
He said, as for the 2021 season, it's embarrassing that pitchers and catchers are reporting on time in Arizona because there should have been a delay, in his opinion. He took lots of shots at the Players Union about this. He's worried about what's to come between the Players Association and the owners. Understandable. It's probably going to be a strike year next year. And he also said there will be an electronic strike zone within the next 2 years, whether that's
no
minors
way.
or majors. That was his final point, on top of saying that his top prospect is loud and cannot speak English that well. So that was a lot. That stuff isn't as relevant as the problem Kevin Mather just presented by insulting his top prospect. I guess Julio Rodriguez has worked really hard on perfecting his English. He always wants to do interviews in English. He like would come home from school and like watch his mom's English tapes just to learn the language for
Mm.
like the last 10 years of his life. Um, I mean, I think Kevin Mather was part of the people that like didn't want to pay for a translator for him, like just another odd kind of thing. In 2018, I found this after going on his Wikipedia for a minute. In 2018, he was reported to create a hostile work environment for women in the Seattle Mariners organization. However, that works. It just said a subject of 2 complaints from female employees. He basically paid him off to keep him quiet about what it is. The women left the organization. And oh, he also said disrespectful words towards Japanese and Dominican players, saying that he did not like that they did not know English. So it wasn't just Rodriguez they insulted. I think Yusei Kikuchi was another one that got insulted.
Wow.
But I mean, just a lot from a guy that we don't really. I mean, you're a relevant dude. People don't like you. You're an owner. We don't want to hear you talking about how much the players suck and your xenophobic stuff about making fun of bilingual players when you yourself don't speak English or more than English. I mean, they
Yeah.
need to fire this guy, right? He just insulted half their organization and terrible look. I mean, no one on Twitter is defending this guy from what I've seen, and nor should they. Do you have any thoughts on this, or
He's
I
like a
just
minority owner though, right? Also.
yeah, I mentioned that
So
earlier, but he's the president also. I don't know if it's president of baseball ops or whatever.
he's gonna have
Wikipedia
to like
doesn't really
they're
say.
gonna have to like force him to sell like his part too, I guess. I don't know how that
He
works,
can
but
probably keep his stake, but they'll probably want him to do like more of a hands-off, like
yeah, but
don't
that's
don't
just
talk
like
about the team.
that's just like really like dumb, and he must have just like gotten old and crazy. Because like why, like just why? Why do you say those things? Like you literally like have nothing to gain by insulting your top prospect. It's just like why? Like it's just yeah, just really dumb. I have nothing else to say. I guess just
It's
like
just terrible looking. Like this has been a terrible social off season for baseball after like all the moves that they made to inject social like issues and stuff into the season last year. And all of a sudden we got the guy getting hit with the sex charges and then Mickey Callaway with the sending nudes to that reporter, and then we got this guy being like super xenophobic towards his players, and I mean, just a bad look. And I think they should follow suit with what the Mets did and just either let him make him be quiet and let him keep his stake, but he has to take like a hands-off role, or just get rid of him. You can't really get rid of someone who owns part of your team, but you can
yeah,
definitely force him to kind of lay back a little bit. I mean, it's just at a Rotary Club thing, like a speech. Didn't need to do all
just like
this.
yeah, just so pointless. And yeah, great point about yeah, just overall just terrible like off season. You had the stuff with the Mets GM, and now you have this, and on top of that, a bunch of other things like them not saying they don't care about social media and firing all the specific team social media guys like we talked about last week. But
Not winning any points.
yeah, so I don't know.
And I know we said it last time during the Callaway stuff, but just another part of the problem in baseball is like just guys like this. They're just in the shadows like this, and they'll show that little hint that hey, things have been kind of going on, and then like we'll find a story, and I mean, you kind of put pieces together and
Right.
understand that there's some problems
We've
in the
seen
ownership and things like
um
this.
I will say this though, in my experience of like watching baseball, which hasn't been that long, I started watching after the Dodgers or during the Dodgers Astros World Series and after that season and on. And there hasn't been like much really racial incidences, and this is kind of, it's not really racist specifically, but it kind of could be taken as that way, and
Insensitive, I guess, is the better word.
yeah, definitely. And but in the NBA and like NFL, you've definitely seen like owners say some, pretty messed up stuff. And obviously in the NBA they had Donald Sterling, but other than that, the NBA is like pretty good. But that was just a bad look. And I think there's just guys like that, at the top, you have these really rich people, and some of them, they're just still, idiots at the end of the day, I guess. Yeah, it's just, yeah, just not a good look though. Yeah.
Just another one of the MLB's old white guys that
Right,
probably
but I'm
didn't
I'm
think
saying
he was saying anything wrong,
they exist in other sports, but it does feel like there's more of them in baseball. But I mean,
at least in recent years. Yeah.
yeah,
All right. We don't have to talk about this idiot anymore, but uh, your boy Tatis got extended a 14-year, $340 million blockbuster deal. I think it's the third or fourth highest paying deal in total, at least of all time. So, you, Mr. Padres fan, what's your initial thoughts here?
well, first of all, we talked about that, or I think I don't know, one of us sent this. We talked about the infield, how much the infield is being paid now. You have
It's a,
Eric Hosmer. It's over like 800 million, something like that. You have
it's insane.
Tatis.
Yeah.
This is the left side. It has like 640 million. Eric Hosmer has like 184, and then Ha-Seong Kim has 28 million, and he's not even going to start. And yeah, I mean it's just insane. And Hosmer definitely overpaid. Machado, we'll see. Um, my thing with Tatis is, yeah, he's only played a season, but if it if he gets a lot better and he just has 1 to 2 years of just absolute dominance, and he's just tearing up the league, and he gets Mike Trout comparisons, which this is not ridiculous. Like it is to
No.
say, like it
No.
sounds like it is, but he has that potential. And at that point, he could get 400 million. He could get more. You don't know. You don't want these teams like the Yankees or the Dodgers bidding on him. What if he went to the Dodgers? They're not going to pay Corey Seager. They might have a hole at shortstop. I mean, you don't want these teams bidding on him. 340, it could be really bad, but it could also be a steal. And I was pretty happy when they got it done. Obviously, I mean, they've talked about it for a while, extending him something along the lines of 300 plus million. And at the end of it, he's only going to be like 35 or something. And
Yeah.
it's just great for the organization because it feels like no matter what though. I mean, he could get traded. Look at what happened with Arenado if things go south. But obviously, this is a different situation. I mean, Padres are, you could say they are going to win now with all the trades they've made, but they're still set up for the long term pretty well with their farm
The
system.
organization's in a much different place than the
Right.
Rockies are.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great deal, and I'm saying that based off what I said earlier, high potential. Trout, you could have said the same thing, was underpaid for getting 450, I think, because yeah, when other teams bid on you, that's when the price gets way high. And Tatis, I think he totally could have got 400 plus if he did what he's capable of come contract time.
So, to your surprise, I actually don't hate this deal. I'm sitting in the middle because I like a lot about this deal because Tatis, 14 years, like you said, he'll still be 35. We won't see that steep decline we see in those 35 plus year olds. It's only a 24 million a year, so if he is elite like he's so far
Right.
looked, it really works out. You're avoiding paying up to $11 million extra a year. I mean, if he's performing the way he has over a long period of time, that's like a 35 to $40 million player per year. And that's not out there to say. What I don't get about it, and this is what I don't like about it, why so long and why so early? Because they have team control over him still for at least a couple of years. And the length on it, I mean, they could have done 10 years, and I think everyone would have been just as blown away by just like the whole idea of it. But I don't know. I'm in the middle on it. I just don't think we've seen enough from him, and I don't think the Padres were pressed to do something like this yet. So I'm in the middle.
I think to try to convince you, I guess, or I don't know, just to like answer your points. First of all, the 24 million a year thing, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're totally right. Like, if he is doing well, I mean, Trevor Bauer's making 40 million a year, plus his contract time will be in 4 years. He might get, way more than that. So they saved him that. But yeah, I think it's good that they did it early because, like I said, he doesn't have to be a free agent. Like he could be, like I said, he'd be good for 2 years, just tear up the lead for 2 years, and then he'd still have what 2, 3 more years of club control left. But at that point, he might say no to 340. Believe it or not, if he thinks he's worth
Maybe. Yeah.
400, if he thinks he's worth 400, he might want to say, I want to see, I want to hit the free agent market. I want to see what I can get. I'll come back to you guys with my best offer. And that's like a nightmare scenario. Just like I said, you do not want like teams like these other teams bidding on him. And like I said, that's if he does really well. But I think that's why they wanted to get it done sooner than later. And it's just a whole like different look with the franchise because they're not, you know, like they're just not a great franchise overall. They haven't really done much. They went to one World Series, lost to the Yankees, got swept, and they've been kind of known for losing like a lot of guys. They haven't had the guys who stayed their whole career here, other than Tony Gwynn. But I heard some like lifelong old Padres fans say he said like with all due respect to 19, which is Tony Gwynn's number, he said, but we've never had a player like this before. And I was like, he might be right. Like I never saw Tony Gwynn, but Tatis, he does like everything, and yeah, like he's only played a season literally, but he got 340 million. And but like like he's a huge like look for the organization, I guess, just because like people were so scared. Even I was too. I was like, what if he is like, what if he doesn't spend his whole career here? And yeah, like it is kind of long, but 10 years. I mean, that's what Machado got, and Machado's way
Hmm.
younger, like way younger than him, or
How
no, I
old
mean
are
way
you?
older,
Yeah.
way older. Yeah, when his contract came, so he was way older, and obviously Tatis would be way older than like than he is now when his time came, but I mean he'd still be a lot younger than Machado was, I think, by a couple of years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I did what you just did. I talked myself kind of into it. I really like when players can kind of lock up the same guy. Like I love that Trout's been in the same team for his whole career. I hate when MLB kind of does the super team thing like we see in basketball, but I think things like this are good for the game. But then I saw a tweet that showed Yasiel Puig's numbers through the same amount of games.
oh right,
The stats
yeah,
were really similar. Puig was, in fact, a little bit better. Can you imagine if the Dodgers gave Puig a 14-year, $340
oh
million
yeah,
deal? Just that short into his career. We'd be 4 years into that contract. Puig can't even sign on a team right now, and he'd still have 10 years left on that contract.
right, yeah,
So, I
but
mean,
I
that's
mean
the
Puig
low
though,
end of
his
things.
his attitude is kind of crazy. He's done some like crazy things,
I
and
love
like
Puig.
even like I heard like I don't know. I just heard like a funny story that even in Cleveland when he was on the Indians, like his neighbors are always complaining because he was throwing parties and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if he's like that guy. I don't know. I just think yeah. Obviously we don't know what goes on, and maybe they just loved what they saw with him. But
I mean, what's not to like? It's just my only gripe is how
right,
short we've seen him. And I
right.
mean,
And
it's
he's had some injury
143 games.
issues. He's had some injury issues, and yeah, he's like slumped a little bit. But yeah, I think yeah, I mean, the worst case, there's two worst cases. If everything goes south and he ends up getting traded, or um, he like just sucks and like gets hurt a lot. But I don't think he'll suck. I think he'll just get hurt a lot, if anything. But hopefully not. Hopefully, like, yeah, because it's just his rookie year though. I don't know. He was kind of reckless his rookie year. I'll say that. So
That's true.
if he can like which he did show last season, even though it was 60 games, he did show he could tone it back, but still be a little bit, do what he's capable of and like wowing everyone. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Only time can tell. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I
rookie
like it.
Tatis was like tagging up from third to home on like infield flies and
That
like
was
making it.
insane.
That
That
was
was
insane.
insane. That was insane. That's like one of the best highlights I've ever seen. It was literally just a pop fly and
He
like
didn't, he just thought that there's like no way he'd tag.
I
So he
watched
just
the
kind of like,
video, the interview. So he was waiting. He said if the second baseman like faked, like did a like a soft throw to the infielder, to the other infielder, he was just gonna run because he knew just between that time of the transfer he got it. And the ump called him out at first, but then yeah, it was overturned, and I was like, that is the like most insane highlight I've ever seen. But he's done a lot of crazy stuff just in that year, and I mean, hopefully we did a full season of Tatis this year and he wins MVP. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
by all means, please. I'd love
Yeah,
to see more of him. I want to see him do it for the full season. I'm going to be skeptical for that reason that we haven't yet. So, I mean, but I think I'm going to stick in the middle on this one. I think this year will determine where I stand on that, but we shall see.
I just want to say also, this is a vanilla cream. It's not beer. So if anyone thinks I drink beer, yeah, no. But
You're
but
over
yeah,
21.
I am over 21, but it doesn't matter. But if anyone in my
Huge.
family sees this, like, yeah, I'm fine. But,
You got anything else on Tatis?
no, that is an $800 million infield though, which is crazy.
It's
And
pretty insane.
Padres have what, like 54 million between two players now with Machado and Tatis, which is not like accurate because they're gonna
Yeah.
make different stuff every year, but Machado does his AAV is 30, Tatis is 24, so around
Between those
that.
two guys, that's like $10 million more than what the Orioles' entire payroll is.
Oh yeah, we've seen, yeah, with Trevor Bauer, one guy making more than a
Yeah,
couple
it's
teams.
insane.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you think that's the best like left side of the infield? And I mean, to preface this, like other people, like if you came from other sports and you heard that saying like, oh, left side of the infield, you'd be like, oh, that's so specific. That's like saying like right side of the offensive line or something. But like no, like left side of the infield, like they see the most action, the ball that hits the most
Yeah,
statistically there. So
any ground
super
ball from
important.
like probably 70% of
Right.
hitters is gonna probably end up in one of those two
But
guys'.
who could be better than them? I thought like, maybe Lindor and Ramirez, but they're broken up. Story and then Arenado, they're broken up.
I think Story and Arenado were gonna be the only two to kind of compete with this, but I think this is
Yeah,
better
they're
than like
just
Seager, Turner, and things like that. But
Cedar Turner, yeah, Machado versus Turner. Like offense, you could say is close, but the defense isn't. And Cedar Tatis, I don't know. That's depends on who you ask. I'll say Ty. I mean, I want to say Tatis, but just because I know other people, like, I don't
and
know.
Seager's right. Seager is an
He's
elite
good, but
hitter.
to be fair, he had Mookie Betts sitting in front of him, which is like kind of
No, no,
insane.
no. Even
Like,
before
oh
2020,
yeah,
he was
even
he was really
before.
good before
No, yeah, he
injuries.
was. But yeah, 2020 playoffs, he was just insane. But
I'd
yeah.
like to state that a 23-year-old Fernando Tatis Sr. Had a real good breakout season, and then he got hurt, and his entire career was kind of derailed. Just throwing that out there. You
Yeah,
don't want to hear that, but
I mean, his dad was a beast. He like hit two grand slams in an
in the
inning.
same inning,
Yeah, that's insane. Like, how does that even happen? How do you even
I
get
think
two
they
at
left.
bats in
I
one
think they
inning?
left the same pitcher
Don't
in there,
even.
and that's crazy. And I think like the first grand slam he hit with like one out.
Yeah.
It's
And that
terrible.
was that was against the Dodgers. So
Was it against the
in
Dodgers?
Dodger Stadium, yeah, in LA. So yeah.
All right, all right. We got a couple minor signings this week. Not minor, there's a couple impact ones, I guess. Taiwan Walker signs to the Mets, 2 years, $20 million. I didn't know he was only 28 still. I feel like I've
Oh
heard of
yeah, I
Taiwan
thought he was like
Walker for
way
like,
older.
I've only heard of him for like 10 years now.
Hmm.
I have his baseball card from 2010,
Yeah,
but
a lot of potential. It's a good
I
signing.
like him on the Mets because they're stockpiling that rotation again. He slides right into like the 4 or 5
Didn't
spot.
they lose? Didn't something happen with Seth Lugo?
Yeah, I think he's hurt for they hope to get him back by like end of the season, but they'll have him for the playoffs, I think.
If they make it, but yeah, we'll see. They definitely need a guy like that.
They will likely make the playoffs.
I don't know, not
Uh,
in that division. I don't think so. It's like likely because
Pacoda had the Mets winning the division. Don't get that.
yeah, I don't know. To be truthful on that, I'm just saying it's gonna be hard because there's really between at this rate, I think it's fair to say Dodgers and Padres are pretty much gonna get the first wild card. So the whole NL East is competing for the second, and Braves are looking pretty strong, I think. But Mets
Central's
are,
out.
yeah. Oh yeah, Central's not getting no wild card. Yeah, the Mariners might like I don't know. Yeah, well,
It's
never
coming
mind.
down to Nationals and Mets, but
Yeah,
I think the
Nationals
Mets have
too.
the edge.
You're not throwing the Braves in there. Braves not like really
Braves are
good.
going to win the division.
Oh, you think Brave? Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard for me. I think the Mets could,
They
but
can. I just think the Braves are a little better set up for it.
yeah, but yeah,
Okay, so
did signing though at Taiwan Walker. I really like that.
it's one we were waiting on. Jake Odorizzi, I believe, is the last relevant starting pitcher left, and he should be picked up soon. I mean, he's got a good career. He's also about only like 30 years old, and he's been in the league for like 8 years now.
There's some relievers still. but and I don't know what the Phillies are spending their money on, but they're only like 12 million away from the luxury tax, I think.
It's Bryce
And
Harper.
yeah, and Real Muto now too. But
Yeah.
and Gregorius, I guess. But yeah, like they could totally like use a guy like Trevor Rosenthal. Like why not?
Trevor Rosenthal actually signed this week.
Oh, he
That was my
did?
next. That was my next one. He's going to the A's. That was a kind of a under the radar signing
No
when
way, I
we
didn't even
talked
hear
about
about
it.
that.
Yeah, it
That's really
happened
cool.
2 days ago, I think. Yeah, Rosenthal to Oakland, 1 year, $11 million. Kind of their replacement for Hendricks, I guess. But I like this a lot. Rosenthal's been around forever. Another one of those guys been around forever. He was on the 2011 Cardinals, I think, a long time ago. But he kind of had a little fall off last couple seasons, but last year he looked really good when he came to San Diego, and he's kind of been on the upward trend. But $11 million could be an overpay. He's getting kind of old, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I like it. Oakland's they got a way to just kind of fix their pitching over there. Go get him, Oakland. Got anything on that?
Um, I liked it. Yeah, I mean, just seems like the Oakland way, 1 year deal. Even though it is a lot, but I mean, yeah, they didn't need to make up. They lost Liam Hendricks, so I mean, yeah, it does fill the hole somewhat, I guess. And even if he does bad, he only 1 year, so
So
interesting.
the big changes for Oakland this year, they lost Simeon and Hendricks, and they replaced those guys with Andrews and Rosenthal. And I don't think that's an upgrade. It's certainly like just a slight downgrade. Andrews isn't the hitter Simeon has been, or the defender, and Rosenthal hasn't been consistent like Hendricks has. You can give Hendricks the ninth and feel like 95% confident. Rosenthal, I mean, he started 2020 with the Tigers, and I mean, he had signed like three different contracts with three different teams prior to this season, and I mean,
I mean,
late career comeback. I like it, but there's certainly no Hendricks. It's not Hendricks.
what does it mean that it DFA'd?
Designate for free agency, so I think they have to clear. So they either have the
That,
option to get picked up off of waivers by other teams, or they end up going to like AAA. Like when a team releases somebody, they're just
yeah, I think
outright
the
released.
Liam
But
Hendricks got DFA'd like 4 times or something. I heard that before.
yeah,
So I don't think he was necessarily like a whole guarantee. He did show like I'd say a year and a half of really good stuff in Oakland, maybe 2 years, And yeah, Rosenthal is really only 1 year. The Royals, he looked really good. I think it was the Royals. I don't know. And then the Padres traded for him, but yeah, I mean, uh,
up
I
and
don't.
down career.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, we'll see how he does. I guess.
That's all I really had on the A's. Oh no, they signed Mitch Moreland. 1 year, 2.25 mil. He'll follow in like probably in their DH spot to replace Chris Davis.
Right. No, I
Because Matt
like that.
Olson's first base. I do like Moreland a lot. He's a bit of a journeyman. He started in Texas, went to Boston. If you remember, he won the World Series MVP there in 2018. He's just been around for a while. Clutch hitter. Certainly a good teacher to the younger guys. Always puts together a good at bat. I like Mitch Moreland.
Yeah, he was on the Padres for a little bit last year. They acquired him at the
Yeah,
deadline, but he was really hot that year, and he did not turn out so well for the Padres. But oh well, I hope they didn't give up too much. But yeah, still really good signing. I like how the A's do that. They identify like their like holes, what they're losing, and they actually like try to fill it. Versus some teams, they'll say, "Oh, we'll just like go get some from from AAA, or we'll like I mean, we'll like, just I don't know, we'll just move someone up, like it's just not, it doesn't work like that. I mean,
I mean,
sometimes it
polar
does, but yeah.
opposites from what the Astros did. The Astros were losing Reddick, Springer, and Brantley. They fixed that hole in the outfield by re-signing Brantley, and that's it. So, I mean, I do like the A's approach better in that regard, like you're saying.
Right.
But I think that they're just hoping that they can develop the pieces they already have and just kind of fill the holes with cheaper and slightly less effective options that they
Right. It
can
does depend on what you have
capitalize
coming
on.
up too. If your farm system like you have some great outfielders coming up, then obviously yeah, like doesn't matter. Like they like look at the Nationals with Bryce Harper. They could have paid him and they did offer him a contract, but they had, who Robles, Soto
Carter
coming up or
Keyboom at third base,
yeah, like
Soto.
Yeah, I'm
They
talking
have
about just their
pieces coming.
outfielders though. They had another
Uh,
center fielder too, who's young, right?
Michael Taylor.
Yeah, isn't he super young? Yeah. So,
He's on the Royals now.
oh, he is.
Yeah, I'm trying
Yeah.
to. I think there is another outfield piece we're missing, but they replaced like Harper with Soto and
Right.
Robles, and then they signed Eaton, or they
So yeah,
traded
it
for
depends
Eaton.
on
So,
every team's scenario. But yeah, the A's, I guess they clearly realized,
and that's like
we
the
need a
essence
DH.
of the original Moneyball standing is like we don't need a one singular guy that gets 120 RBIs. We need three guys that can equal 120 RBIs in the same usage as the one guy. So I mean, Oakland's doing what
Yes.
they do.
But they could spend more money. They do have like the eighth richest owner,
They
according to
could.
you. So yeah,
They do.
they're not like the
It's okay.
Rays, but yeah, apparently Rays are supposed to do bad. They have like 14% playoff chance. I don't know. I saw that.
I just don't think there's. I think we're just doing it again. It's like the third year in a row where the Rays are just super underrated and underappreciated. And here we come probably August. They're going to
But
be
when you hear
right
they
there in the
lost
wild
Blake
card.
Snell and Charlie Morton, that's like a pretty big deal. Like two starting pitchers that are, you really good. I mean Snell, like he was like ridiculous that Cy Young year, but and that was a full season. That wasn't 2020, but I mean, I kind of see it, but I don't know. I kind of liked what they did. They signed Rich Hill, and then who's the other guy they signed?
Michael Waka and Chris Archer. So
Yeah, so
if Tampa Bay is really this mecca for where old pitchers come to rejuvenate their careers, I mean, I don't think they've lost a step compared to last year. They only pitch guys into the sixth inning because that's twice through the lineup. And I mean, I don't think Chris Archer is that much less effective than Blake Snell's twice through the lineup. Blake Snell's obviously better, but I mean, the Pirates would just send Chris Archer out there for like 7 innings and say, go get him third time or fourth time through the lineup. You got it, bud. And that's why his ERA was like 5.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, we'll see with Chris Archer. I didn't think he was that great, but yeah, that is true. Like they do have the bullpen to support that, but
I'm real interested in what they do with Michael Waka because with the Cardinals, if you remember, he was looking like a potential star. He was like right there with Matt Harvey, like in terms of like their first 2 years in numbers, and then he just fell off. I think he lost like his changeup or something. Like he just started using it too much or something like that. Just fell off when he came to the Mets, and
that's crazy. Like stuff like that happens. I hear about that, but I wasn't watching baseball then, so I didn't see it. And I wonder like who's gonna happen to now with like modern day pitchers, like Luis Castillo. He just like falls off all of a sudden. I don't know, like something like that, something
it
random.
happens every year seemingly. It's hard to look at 2020 and do that, but I
Yeah,
mean, I'm really excited to see what the Rays do. If anyone can kind of fix their career like that, it'll be the Rays with Michael Waka, and
right. And
that's the one I'll
maybe
keep an eye on.
like I said though, like in the time I've watched baseball, they've appeared to be this, genius organization that does a lot with less. Um, I mean, they had some good pitching, I'd say, over the last couple of years, but their offense, yeah, definitely like they had a lot of guys, who I feel they made look better than they are. But yeah, they definitely had some bad years, right, prior. So I think who knows, maybe it is one of those bad years, and they are in a somewhat tough division. I mean, it's just kind of top heavy with the Yankees and the Blue
It kind of
Jays.
became tough though because the Red Sox looking like the ceiling for the Red Sox this year could be a wild card spot, and like not a lot of divisions can say that about the fourth best team in their division.
So let's yeah.
Like if you're looking at the Royals, you're not going to say, "Hey, they can do as good as a wild card spot." No, you're looking at the Mariners. No, you're looking at I don't know anywhere but the AL East. The Reds aren't going to do that.
Mhm.
So I mean, yeah, AL East is tough. My Orioles, they're doing okay. They're
Yeah.
not doing great.
Not doing great according to the. Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but
I got
yeah.
a couple more just little signings here. Padres had a busy week. They signed Mark Melanson to a 1 year, $2 million deal. He had a good year with the Braves. Before that, he wasn't really like a elite relief option, but certainly serviceable. He's been around for a while. Uh, do you care about this?
Um, we did throw in the other edition also, and then I'll
Keon
comment.
Kella. Yeah, Keon Kella to San Diego also 1 year, $1.2 million. Had some good years with the Pirates, but as of late, he hasn't looked like the same guy. Maybe the Padres can fix that.
Yeah, I liked both of these kinda. I mean, the only guy I really feel like you can trust in the Padres bullpen is Drew Pomeranz, and
He's their closer right now.
yeah, he's a solid guy. But I'm totally okay with him being a closer. But yeah, they did lose Rosenthal. They did lose Yates. They didn't have Yates last season because of injuries anyway. But I mean, like I said, I'm glad they're doing something. And Keone he showed like he had the potential at one point, at least. So it's
Hmm.
not like they're just nobodies. And Mark Melanson, I really liked him on the Braves. He was the Braves closer over Will Smith, who they paid a bunch of money surprisingly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Will Smith. I don't think he was hurt, right? He was just.
Shane Green, I think, was their main use in closer.
But he had like 11 saves or something. I'm pretty sure like last season in the 60 games. That's pretty short. And in the playoffs too, they used him like a lot in the high leverage moments. So I
Yeah, he
mean,
was great in the playoffs. I don't know if
yeah.
you got a chance to watch him, but when he was facing the Dodgers, I mean, he was lights out.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's kind of known for I don't know. I wasn't watching baseball then, like I said, but he was I guess he signed a big contract with the Giants and then like did terrible literally his first game and from there just wasn't great. But I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, they like his stuff and I mean, their bullpen is still pretty good, I think. They got some nice pieces there and their rotation's not gonna, put too much demand on their bullpen and I'm totally fine with Pomeranz as the closer. I think he's great from what I've seen from him.
I think if the bullpen is your weakest link, I really like that for a competitive team like the Padres, who really have a shot this year. Because if you got, say, an infield piece that's doing better than you'd like Profar, for example, is a good on that team. But I mean, maybe he's overperforming for the year, and they're really looking to get some bullpen help. Maybe they trade for a guy like Yates back or something like that. I just first guy I thought of. Something like that where they just get another elite arm because they are going to need a lockdown arm by the end of the year. Pomeranz is kind of that guy, but uh, not really a closer type. I don't think he's ever been a closer in his career, really.
He hasn't, but last year he like had a ridiculous ERA. Like I don't even think I saw him give up a run like the whole year. Like I'm not even kidding. Like he wasn't their closer, but I think he did close some games and like he was pitching like he was set up at least. So I don't think it's like that hard to be to switch. But yeah, I don't
Before
know.
2020, he had finished okay, he's finished. He's done some closing work. Like when he was in Oakland, he did some. So interested to see how he does. But yeah, they're going to need another lockdown arm for sure.
Yeah, but that's the thing, yeah. Like you said with bullpen, it's not the worst thing, and this is the era of everyone throws 100, and there's a bunch of guys like that on the market. So, and they definitely have the
And the
farm
amount of
system to go get
starters they
some guys.
have, if they're having trouble in the bullpen, just throw Mackenzie Gore out there, or just throw, I don't know, who'd they just get from the Pirates? Uh,
Keone.
no, 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 starter
Oh, Musgrove.
Musgrove. Yeah, just throw him to the bullpen and let him eat some innings for you. But I do like where they're at. Very nice positioning for the Padres pitching staff. We knew that though. That's all the signings really for this. Oh, Guardy's back to New York for a
Yeah.
1 year, $4 million deal. He has an option for 2022. I don't care. This was a respect offer. They're just like, yeah, you can finish your career out. We'll give you a
They're
nice
like,
little
but you
chunk
have
of
to retire next
change.
year. Like you have to. Like,
Please.
yeah, we're not paying you anymore, and we're not retiring your jersey either. Like,
They might retire his jersey. I don't know. I don't know what the Yankee standard is for retiring jerseys because we
okay,
talked about earlier, like Kyle Seager might
they
get retired with the Mariners.
Well, they said a Ring of Honor, right? I don't, or something of honor. I don't know if it was Jersey. Yeah, maybe you're right. But if anything though, the Yankees standard to the Mariners is like it's not even close. Like it's like because I mean, if you think about the Yankees, they literally had like what like 1 through 10 like retired something like that, and they have their top five like. You could say I've heard people say Derek Jeter is like not a top five Yankee of all time, and like it's like a common
I'd agree
thing
with that.
because yeah, dude, they had like Mickey Mantle, they had Babe Ruth, they had, I
Whitey
mean,
Ford, Lou Gehrig, Mariano. I
yeah,
mean,
Mariano, yeah,
Reggie Jackson.
yeah, like they had like ridiculous guys. So, um, Yeah, no, Yankees like if Brett Gardner gets his jersey retired, I'm gonna be shocked. I honestly will be.
If Brett Gardner
Same with
plays that,
Sabathia.
if Brett Gardner plays his entire career on like the Indians, though, we're gonna see a jersey retirement for Brett Gardner.
If anyone plays their whole career on the Indians, they yeah,
Yeah,
automatic. There's some teams like that. There's some teams like that. There's some definitely some teams like look at Ryan Zimmerman with the Nats. I don't think he was like amazing. He might have been good at some points, but he's
he
Mr.
had some all-star
National.
quality years.
Oh, he did? Okay. Well, in
Two-time
baseball that doesn't
all-star.
count because everyone makes even the bad teams have one all-star, right? So like
Okay,
theoretically
okay.
like
Here's a better argument. OPS plus for Ryan Zimmerman has been over 100 every year except for 2016 and 2020.
okay. So maybe not Ryan Zimmerman then, but there are some
There you go.
guys who like we'll say maybe like they're on the Orioles, they're on the Indians, they like have like they barely make the All-Star game because they're the
Elvis
best guy on
Andrews,
the
good
team.
example.
Yeah, yeah, or him, and then they might get their jersey retired just because they played there a bunch of years. It's kind of like sad, like they're not like on like a competitive team or like any other team they wouldn't be, but I mean, good for them, I guess. It's just kind of like I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't know.
Yeah, Elvis Andrews should be retired in Texas, though. I think that makes sense, right?
Yeah, same with
Number one.
Beltre.
Yeah. Beltre probably too. Yeah. All right. That's all the signings for this week. Couple minor things. Ian Desmond opts out of the season again. He opted out last year for COVID, and this year he said the same thing. Like, I'd rather spend time with my family instead of the current situation going on in baseball. So I respect it. $8 million contract. I had forgotten how far off Desmond had fallen. He used to be a national utility guy, bounced around a couple teams, certainly known as like a capable hitter, especially for an infielder. But as of like 20, I think it was 2016, he had like a 2.2 WAR. But as of 2020 or 2019, he had a negative 2.2 WAR. His defense has fallen off so bad. So I mean, $8 million that they can pay to the Cardinals for
Nice.
the Rockies. JT Realmuto got a thumb injury. He'll be out for a couple weeks. Should be ready for opening day. Not too concerned about that. That is all of our news for the week.
All right.
We can do the playoff odds if you'd like to do that.
Okay. Um, I guess you
So
can start.
these are Fangraph odds that MLB reposted, and like I don't know if that means they approve of it or whatever, but basically every team has their percentage for making the playoffs. The only team with zero would be my Orioles. We're hanging in there. Teams with the most include the Dodgers, Padres, and the Yankees, I believe, for third. Yeah. So kind of a mess. The NL Central, as we expected, is a 30%, 36% for the Cardinals to make the postseason, 35% for the Brewers. I mean, kind of a mess in the NL Central. It's gonna be
Um,
fun to watch.
yeah, that's really harsh that they did the Orioles like that. Like, not
Zero
even
point
yeah,
zero. The Rockies have point one, and they have the two highest percentage teams in their division.
it's kind of ridiculous. But and yeah, the Tigers have two. Like, I guess their division is somewhat winnable. Like, because
Not
it's
for the
not that
Tigers,
great.
but
Yeah, not for the Tigers. But yeah, the Central, you're right. That's just kind of like, yeah. Sorry if I'm on my phone, but that's where I'm getting the info from.
oh yeah, you're
But
fine.
yeah, feels great. Feels great as a Padres fan. 92%. Almost, it's 92.9, so we're gonna say 93. There's a 93% chance we're making the playoffs. Like, if you had told us this like years ago, I don't know. Like, I'm just
Even
like,
last year,
even last year, but well, last year not so much
I mean,
because
fifth place in 2019 in the
right.
NL West.
Yeah, they were worse, but that's because they dropped off a little bit. But that's the direction they were supposed to be headed, right? Didn't even you say like it wouldn't be last year? It would be like coming up soon. And I'm not saying that was a guarantee, but I'm saying it was somewhat
No one
expected.
expected the Padres to
Right,
be 93% guaranteed though by
right. But that's
2021.
because that's what worries me. It's a lot just because of 2020, which was a shortened season. But I mean, their bullpen, even compared, or I mean, their rotation, even compared to last year. And you could say rotation is easily the most important thing. If you look at like the Nationals, their offense was solid, but not that amazing, and they got it done. I mean, this Padres rotation is, I mean, people will say it's not the Dodgers, but this Dodgers team is ridiculously good, one of the best teams ever. So if that's your best comparison, I mean, we did get swept by them in the playoffs last year, but it is a it is a
We did
three.
this a couple weeks ago. Like, we think they can handle each other pretty well in a playoff series where
Right. I
I
think
think Darvish can go toe to toe with Bauer or whatever you want to match it up, but certainly going to be
Snell,
a fun playoff
Snell,
match.
Snell.
Snell and
They're
Kirsch.
scared of Snell. I hope. But yeah, it feels great, 92%. But yeah, uh,
I mean, if Blake Snell's their third option, he carved up the Dodgers lineup last
oh
year.
yeah, and
So interesting
and
pitching
and
matchup.
If Gore's ready too, I mean that would be nice. But yeah,
We'll
I'm
see.
surprised Red Sox are at 47%. I mean, I don't. Is Chris Sale coming back
Yeah,
or something?
he can be back this year. I think like
Okay.
halfway through the year is what they're looking at.
Does that kind of make sense for me, I guess, depending on when, but I mean, I don't
I
know,
don't
it's
think they should
something.
be higher than the Rays like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, not like that. Yeah, that's like, or even that close to the Blue Jays. But I just they don't trust the Blue Jays pitching that much.
Fair.
Yankees sitting at 91. Yeah, I really don't see a way the Yankees lose this division because
No.
just the fact that they've even had ridiculous amounts of injuries the last 2 years. So you could say like, oh yeah, they're gonna like Judge, they're gonna lose Judge, like they're gonna lose Stanton, we're accustomed to that now.
Like we've seen
So
how they perform without that talent.
yeah, like if anything, they're
And
better. Like no, I mean obviously not, but did have some scary moments last year, but they
yeah.
ended up making the playoffs as a wild card.
There was
But
a week where the Orioles played the Yankees, and the Orioles had gotten off to a good start. If anyone remembers, probably not. But they played a 4 game series against the Yankees, and going into that series, if the Orioles won the first 2 games, they would have taken the Yankees wild card spot in for the postseason, and like that's how close it was going into like September. So I mean, that's a very low point for the Yankees last year, but they came back and beat the Indians. Obviously, lost to the Rays, gave them a pretty good run though. It'll be interesting to see how if they can stay healthy. If they're healthy, the AL's probably theirs to lose. So
yeah, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up again. So I think that's interesting as well as the AL West is pretty much locked up by the Astros. I think the Angels at 37% is pretty generous considering the A's are only at 21%.
yeah, I don't think the A's should be 22% down there.
Yeah.
That's pretty egregious to have the Angels that much higher, especially if
Yeah,
the A's
Angels.
didn't like lose anything really, like we talked about.
Yeah, the A's pitching staff I feel like is much better than the Angels. I don't care if the Angels have Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon, and like their offense is still the rest of the guys are like Otani's like constantly in and out, which sucks. I mean, we just talked
Yeah,
about that a
I'd love to
lot.
see him play more. They say he's the most talented guy in baseball, and
Right,
like,
they have like a modern day Babe Ruth and like the guy on pace to be the all-time WAR leader on their team. Like, but yeah, it's just I don't know. We yeah, forget the Angels. They don't
it's
exist.
also interesting that the Twins are 5% over the White Sox. I don't like
Right.
that. I don't agree with that. They also have the Mets over the
It's
Braves
close.
by
Twins are
thirteen
good.
percent.
That
It's
Twins lineup
close.
is really scary with the Nelson Cruz. But yeah,
Yeah. Only other interesting point: Mets over Braves by a lot.
I
The
don't like
NL Central, I don't care.
I don't like the Indians at 17%. I think their rotation is better than that, and their bullpen. I think their bullpen's gonna be really good this year. They have a lot of like, especially like the Karnichak or whatever his name is, like really
Yeah,
young. Like
Karinchak,
yeah, he like throws
Emmanuel
100.
Clace is supposed
Yeah,
to be
they have
really
like
good
two
for them.
guys that throw 100. Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
so Indians pitching staff's insane. They got some good hitters in that lineup. They
Oh yeah, they
have
have Jose
Ramirez
Ramirez.
still, and
Yeah,
uh, I'm blanking on their entire offense.
let's check out the
Ahmed
Fangraphs.
Rosario's in there. Andres Jimenez from the Mets. Their outfield kind of needs some help, but if you remember Oscar Mercado, he had a good year in 2019, kind of fell off in 2020, but the potential's there. They don't really have any prospects coming up though, but I think the rotation, if you have a good pitching staff, I think you're in a really good position to succeed at any day. If your
Right.
pitching staff's not giving up more than 3 or 4 runs, I mean that's not a lot to ask of your offense.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, they have a really good pitching staff and bullpen too. So we'll see about that. Yeah, NL East, yeah, 81 for the Mets, 67, 68 really for the Braves, and 24 for the Nats. I don't know if I like that. I don't, especially with their bullpen or rotation. I mean, that's like really good. And yeah, I don't know. Central's really the only thing I agree with, honestly. Even the NL West, I don't know. I like Padres at 93. I guess, but I just can't believe it. Like part of me is like, no, something's gonna go wrong. Like everything's gonna fall apart. I don't know. I hope not, obviously,
Too
but
much
we'll
confidence.
see.
All
Yeah.
right, and I had a couple back and forth questions for
All
you.
right.
Who is your surprise team of the year? So like last year, obviously the Padres were a surprise team, but I'm thinking like a tier below that where it's like, oh, we didn't even expect them to be approaching 500, let alone making a bid at the playoffs. Last year was kind of the Giants, I guess, as an example. The Marlins, big example. I don't think people expected the Cubs to win the Central as handily as they did. So like going into 2021, who's that team that you think probably places like a spot or two in the division higher than what you probably think of them
I'm gonna let
as?
you go first, and I'm gonna like think about my answer some more, and I hope you don't take mine. So who do you
All right.
got?
My first pick was the Royals. I think the
Okay.
amount they added, we kind of talked about this last week.
All right.
We went
Yeah.
pretty into that.
All right. Mine is the Reds. I don't know. I kind of like the rotation still. Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo, and
If they
then
hit, they're fine. They have good
yeah,
hitters in that team.
and their the rotation. Yeah. I mean, it's looking kind of shaky, but I mean, I don't
They
know.
don't
They're in
have a
this
bullpen, is my concern. Like
right.
Michael Lorenzen is their bullpen, and he struggled last year.
Right, and they've like yeah, but it's not terrible. I would say it's not like a Phillies caliber, like maybe more a little more consistent. But I mean their division is not too great either. And I mean I think Sonny Gray like he did have a pretty good year, and then Luis Castillo at one point he was talked about as one of the best pitchers. I feel like one of the best young guys, and like after last year, no one's really said that about him. So I just will go with the Reds for my first
I
one.
like that one. Another couple I thought maybe not on the same level that the Royals, but I think the Mariners are set up for a good chance for success. Like, I mean, Kyle Lewis leading that team, they always just seem to find guys to plug in their offense, and they upgraded their rotation this year. They have 4 out of 5 lefties, as we mentioned last week, but they're all like good names, like Paxton. You got Marco Gonzalez, Justice Sheffield in there. I mean, that's a reliable rotation to say the least. I like what the Giants did last year. One of the better offenses in baseball. They kind of upgraded the rotation and bullpen this year. Signed a couple minor names. I'd be interested to see if they do, I don't know, third place, but I think they kind of have that locked up. Like, there's just not a lot of room to go up or down because the D backs and Rockies are so bad, but the Padres and Dodgers are not getting caught by the San Francisco Giants.
It's gonna be hard for the Giants for sure, especially in that division. But yeah, they definitely I guess in other divisions they'd be a lot scarier. But
Like the Giants in the NL Central would be really fun to see. They could take second in that, I think.
right. I think I don't know, I want to say the Marlins, but I feel like in that division it's too hard.
I'm
And
out on the Marlins.
yeah, I want to say the Nats just because of the Fangraphs is only 24%, but I feel like most people like it's not a great answer considering the. But I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, you said a lot of the other teams though. So I mean, the
And one
Rays
more
are
I'm
not
really
expected to do good, but yeah.
the Rays.
I
Did you
mean,
say the Rays or the Braves?
no, oh, Rays. Yeah, no,
Oh
definitely not the
yeah.
Braves. Yeah, but we'll
I'm
see.
looking at the Brewers too. We talked about it. If they sign Justin Turner, they're like a totally different team.
Right.
But I mean, what they have right now is pretty capable of doing what they did in 2019. I mean, all they've lost since then is a couple role players and like a couple rotation pieces that they quickly replaced. I mean, Yelich is coming back for a full year. Keston Hira gets another year of experience. Hopefully Ryan Braun's back on the field this year. He's kind of talking about retiring, but Corbin Burns in that rotation. I don't know if you looked at his stats this year, but really underrated guy. No one knew who he was, and he showed up and like was one of the best starters in baseball. So I like what the Brewers got going on. They're in an awkward situation where like some of their best talents like over 30 or approaching 30, and like they have a decent young core, but it's kind of just the odd mix there.
Mhm. Yeah, I think they did too, but yeah, especially in that division.
Yeah.
But all
And
right.
I had one final question for you. What are two cards that you will be investing in, or not you will be, but
Yeah.
like you would recommend investing in going into the 2021 season? So they don't have to be recent rookies, but maybe a guy that you think is ready to kind of break out or maybe show what they haven't shown yet.
Um, I guess I'll give you two that are rookies. I don't know. I think they are rookies, but my first one is gonna be Davy Garcia of the Yankees,
Okay.
just because he has the stuff, he has the potential, and if he's a long-term Yankee, the value of that is gonna go up a lot, just because historic franchise. Like we're saying, their jersey retirements are worth more than other teams. So if he gets his
Just a
jersey
little.
retired, I would say
I pulled
by
the
a
Davy.
lot.
I
Like,
pulled the Davy out of the hanger box I opened.
see, yeah, there you go. Great, great pitcher. And then I guess my second, you might have this one too, but T. Brian Hayes. I
I did
mean,
not have that one.
oh, you didn't? Okay. Well,
I kind of assumed he'd be getting chased pretty hard second half
yeah,
of the year. He'll come out in series two.
but I mean, yeah, there's a
I
couple
like
more I want to
those.
say, but yeah, obviously, yeah.
My big one that I actually have been investing in, I have a PSA 10 of his rookie coming in probably tomorrow. Gavin Lux. Don't know if you are super. You're out on Gavin Lux?
Dude,
No.
dude, no. What do you think? Why am I shaking my head?
This man's shaking his head.
You
Came
said
up
a
last year.
Dodger. You said a Dodger, dude. You can't. That's bad for the Padres if he breaks out.
Came up in 2019, rated as one of the top infield prospects in baseball. A lot of hype surrounding him, and he was kind of lackluster, I guess. But he's only played in like 40 games. Got called up late in 2020. Still came out with like a .8 WAR in like 20 games. So his value dipped like crazy after this season. So I mean, you can buy a PSA 10 rookie of him for like $35 right now, which
Wow.
is what I did. So got one of those coming in. Expect him to do at least more than what he has done. If he's not a breakout star, I mean, you're not really going to be disappointed for spending $35 on what could be a really nice investment.
That's
So
crazy.
Gavin
35
Lux is
bucks.
my. I stand by that one. I have invested in that recently, so I like that one. Brendan McKay, another one of my top guys, Ray's two-way player, kind of like the Otani thing, but he's been hit with injuries as well. But I think a guy like that is really exciting, and a lot of eyes get drawn to him. And if he starts out, maybe he has a hot month where he's pitching like he's got like a 2 ERA and he's sitting on like a 300 average by like June. I think that creates a lot of buzz just because he's a two-way guy. And
That's
his rookie
good.
came out last year, and you can buy that for incredibly cheap. You can buy like short prints of him for like $10. So like that one.
There's a lot of good
Bichette,
options.
Bo Bichette, that's another one. He's kind of getting pricey now. You can buy a PSA 10 of him for like $120 or more. I don't have any graded of him, but I do have a lot of his base rookies. And one that you might actually like, Glaber Torres, I think is a good investment right now because I don't know. I think a lot of the hype around him kind of died down, but his numbers haven't died down. And I'd expect him to break out in this full season even more so than what we've seen. Glaber's bat's insane, especially against the Orioles. But
Oh yeah,
I
he's
mean, do you
pretty
remember how
good.
electric he was when he came up in I think 2017?
No, yeah.
The way that man like just captivated baseball for like a couple months there. A 21-year-old just hitting it like like
It was
similar
like
numbers to like
it was like
Trout.
Tatis. It was like Tatis. I'm not even kidding. Like yeah, that's what it felt
Yeah,
like.
and if they move him to third base, he can focus on offense more, and or second base, I mean, focus on offense more. You'll see those numbers go up. So
Right, but
you
he's gonna
can
be their
buy,
shortstop.
yeah,
So yeah, that I
you
don't
can
like.
buy, you can buy a Glaber rookie PSA 10 for like $60 right now, which is a pretty good deal. He's an update card, a little more value to those than other things, but that's the four I had written down. I don't know if you have any more.
Um, you could say Adley Rutschman. I mean, he's
That's a good investment. His are still kind of high right now. Like he hasn't had that dip that I kind of look for in these, like McKay and Lux had. But I have a Rutschman first Bowman. I think I paid like $12 for it. It's not too bad. Mountcastle, my boy,
how much is a Mike Trout?
a Trout rookie,
Yeah,
graded PSA 10, probably like $6,000.
I mean, hey, if he makes the Hall of Fame, it'll probably be worth like 10,000, right?
It'll
So
go up in value, but if you don't have $6,000 to spend, don't spend $6,000.
yeah, just like lost in the mail or something, or you just get scammed. Like yeah, don't
I
do
need to
it.
send mine in to get graded. It's in really good shape. I just haven't taken the time to do it yet. I think I can get a 9 out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a 10 though.
that'd be PSA. I have some cards there as well. Not baseball, but there are cards nonetheless.
Take like 6 months to come back.
Oh yeah, even longer at this point.
But all right, I think that's all we got for the baseball news this week. Just a lot of off the field significant stuff. Spring training starts in 6 days, 6 or 7 days. Be watching games at night here. I got the illegal streams going. Sorry, very legal, totally legit streams that everyone should watch for their baseball content.
Streams East. That's a good site.
I do Volo Kit.
Solo Cat. Like
That one works pretty good.
add this to my.
They have a constant stream of MLB Network playing too. So if you're just kind of bored and like just want some background noise, don't have cable, throw on some Volo Kit MLB
The
Network free.
Did like wow. Coming
They have
top.
all sports too. They have like NHL. They'll have NBA all the way through the playoffs and stuff too on there. So I like that one a lot. I wish they had college baseball. Really want to watch some of that right now.
That's awesome though. Yeah, but all right. I guess that's everything. So anything else you want to say?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, Mariners
Pitchers and
president
catchers.
is an
Yep.
idiot. So yeah,
Yeah, look for more news on that this week. We'll expect like a statement or something, and maybe a decision on what they do with him. So we'll see what happens there. Follow on Twitter. Probably retweet a thing.
all right, all right.